International, Bangkok, David Hatcher reports.
Of course, there's the League Cup final at Wembley between Nottingham Forest and Wolves. Well, we'll be featuring all those three in part one of the programme today. And in addition, at about 15:50-ish, we've got international golf. That's the Kenya Open at Nairobi. And after that, we'll have the football half-time scores. Latest scores I've got, incidentally, for you. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0 in the League Cup final. Bristol City 0, Liverpool 1 in League Division 1. Ray Kennedy, the scorer there at Ashton Gate. And in Division 2, Leicester leading Shrewsbury 1-0. Alan Young scoring for Leicester. Leicester 1, Shrewsbury 0. As I was saying, we'll have the football half-time scores for you at about 15:55. 16 hours, it's the world news. And then at the start of part 2 at 16:15, well, it's the same kind of mixture. It's those two rugby union internationals, the one at Murrayfield and the one at Lansdowne Road, plus the League Cup final between Nottingham Forest and Wolves at Wembley, and we really will have to play that by ear, see what's happening where at the time. 16:50, the racing results and the full-time football scores as they come in. 17 hours, it's the news summary. 17:05, the classified football results. 17:10, we're up to Scotland for the Premier Division match there between Aberdeen and Dundee United at Pittodrie Park. Aberdeen not doing all that well at the moment, so this is an important game for them. That's at 17:10. Then at 17:30, our sequence of football match reports from around the countryside. OK, let's get up to date with our two rugby union internationals.
8.5 minutes to half-time. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, and a League Cup final that's getting better and better. O'Neill on the halfway line for Forest. To McGovern. Oh, a good ball by McGovern. And Anderson free in the outside right position, but offside. What a very good ball that was, though, by John McGovern. Just fed it between the defenders. And had Anderson not strayed offside, I think it would have gone anyway to O'Neill, who was certainly onside. So Anderson's desire to come forward then proved to be Forest's undoing. Free kick to Wolves then. Halfway inside their own half, Hughes slowly comes forward. Hits a right-footed ball, looking for Andy Gray. Was foul, I thought, by Burns. Referee says play on. So Forest do just that. And the Wolves offside trap. They're trying to spring it again as O'Neill has it on the halfway line. The Wolves defence comes forward, but Parry has stayed back. And in fact stays back and makes a good challenge too. And gets the ball high into the Forest half, where Burns has a lot of time to control and play it back to Peter Shilton, defending the Forest goal to my right. Forest 0, Wolves 0 then. An absorbing final. This has become a frantic sort of opening, but the football is better now, and with Wolves having had a good period, it's a much more competitive game. Birtles on the halfway line for Nottingham Forest. To Frankie Gray, a long one forward. Berry will clear that inside his own half. Not a very pretty clearance, but a very effective one. Out of play for a throw-in to Forest. Just down beneath me, 10 yards from the halfway line on Forest's left. From the throw, though, they've given it away again. Carr forward for Wolves. A good ball to Richards just outside the penalty area. Richards pulls it across the face of the box, and Burns keeps his head and keeps the ball as well. And comes forward and hits it to the halfway line, where Palmer just controls first time. It was a lovely ball, that, though, which set Wolves moving forward again. They've got possession. And Berry switches play out to that far side of the field. Eves, little seen of him. Now his first opportunity to try his pace against Anderson. Goes forward all the way. Tries to go on the outside, but Needham is there as the covering defender, and a back heeler straight to Anderson. That's confidence for you in a Wembley Cup final. Forest, though, still penned deep inside their own half. Get out of that position by playing good football. McGovern comes forward, finds Birtles just inside the Wolves half. Birtles will go it alone against Wolves defence. Francis goes on a run and he finds him. Francis is inside the penalty area. Palmer's forcing him wide all the way. He pulls it back to McGovern. Bradshaw saves it with his legs. A corner. Well, the final has really come to life. Forest's fourth corner in this first half. And the goalkeeper of Wolves, Bradshaw, doing well again. Once more, Burns and Needham come forward for this corner kick. And of course, Birtles and Francis, who takes the corner up there too. It comes to Needham, in fact, as the keeper punches it clear. McGovern shoots through a ruck of players. It breaks. Birtles shoots. Again, it hit a defender. And Robertson brought down by Dandridge just outside the box. This game has really exploded into life in the last 10 minutes or so. Bradshaw, with a combination of good goalkeeping and good fortune, keeps Wolves' goal intact. But now, danger again. A free kick taken by Robertson, edge of the box, pulled back for Frankie Gray, and Gray hits it so high, it bounces onto the track surrounding the pitch. But Dennis, what a few minutes football that was.
Certainly, of course, Wolves leaving themselves a bit spare at the back there, and of course they cannot afford to do that when they got the likes of Trevor Francis and Gary Birtles, who are so very fast indeed, and that is exactly what happened. Wolves enjoying a marvellous 5 minutes there, broke down, the ball knocked out to Birtles, and we saw Francis, and of course the goalkeeper, who has had a good game up until now, saving him with his legs, but then missing the cross as it came across. But Forest look so dangerous when they are.
And Forest looking dangerous, and Francis is brought down by Hughes, and it was desperately close to the edge of the penalty area. It wasn't a very good clearance by Wolves. They immediately found themselves under pressure again, and Hughes had to wrestle down Francis. Well, it must be a foot from the edge of the penalty area. That's how close Wolves were to conceding a penalty. So, now they've got everybody back inside their own penalty area. 3.5 minutes to half-time. A danger moment for Wolves. A free kick, driven in hard and straight at Bradshaw. O'Neill really caught that one. But Bradshaw went down, got his body behind the ball, did everything that a goalkeeper should do, and his grip was firm as well, and he's even got it in his arms now and kicks downfield, an offside decision against John Richards. Denis Law.
Well, of course, Wolves, I would think, playing better than most people imagined that they would do. But they are trying several times to play offsides, and very, very dangerous indeed when you've got Trevor Francis and Gary Birtles there. And we've seen on a couple of occasions when they have broken very, very fast indeed that the Wolves defence is struggling. And I felt there personally myself that Hughes committed a foul inside the penalty box.
But now it's Wolves' turn to go forward. Andy Gray wheels just outside the penalty area, finds Daniel. Daniel first time cross, headed away for a corner by Frankie Gray. So Denis Law saying that in his opinion that foul by Emlyn Hughes on Francis took place inside the box. I wonder. A penalty though wasn't given, and Wolves have come forward and won a corner themselves, which Daniel will take. Chips it to the near post, looking for Berry, I think, half cleared by Forest. And the loose ball will be picked up by Francis, who turns it neatly out to Anderson in the outside right position. What a flowing open final this is now. Anderson forward to Birtles, halfway inside the Wolves half. First it's Wolves' turn to attack, now it's Forest. McGovern finds Ian Bowyer, halfway inside Wolves territory in the inside right position. And he turns it out to the dangerous Robertson on the left wing. Forward from him to Birtles, good tackle by Palmer, at the expense of a throw-in. 10 yards from the Wolves corner flag on this near side of the field. That's the Forest left. Robertson to take it and finds Birtles edge of the box. Takes the return ball very, very close to the touchline, but moves infield. Jinks on the edge of the penalty area, clips over a good ball. O'Neill gets his head to it inside the box, but directs it just wide, and that'll be a goal kick. Dennis, where do you think the key areas of this game are becoming now?
Well, I would think that the midfield in particular is the area, and we saw Forest the first 10-15 minutes dictate that far, but Wolves coming back in that area again, and Wolfar and Kenny Hibbett coming more into the game, and of course we've had Peter Daniel, who to me has played very well indeed, more or less all over the park. But we see a key area, of course, for Forest, if they could attack Emlyn Hughes and George Berry with the quick breakaway, then there could be danger for Wolves.
So about a minute to go to half-time, and it's still Forest 0, Wolves 0. Wolves coming forward again with Daniel on the halfway line. A bad ball, he's given it away. Forest gratefully accept the gift, and Burns is charged by Gray in the back, Andy Gray that is, and that'll be a free kick to Forest, almost on the halfway line, which John Robertson will leave, I think, to Frankie Gray. No, he takes it himself, infield to Burns. Back to Frankie Gray, and Forest content to play out the closing moments of this first half, and we're now into time added on for stoppages. Needham on the halfway line for Nottingham Forest, encouraged to go forward and does so, and finds Francis. No, it's O'Neill out in the outside right position, far side of the field. He comes in field, but he's beaten. Wolves have it again. Now Hughes, the Wolves captain, forward into the Forest half. It is picked up by Anderson. The ball out with Anderson again on that pass. And as we move into the closing moments here, it's Francis wheeling on the edge of the Wolves penalty area. He's still got the ball. Jinks one way and a second plays it infield. Momentary hesitation inside that Wolves penalty area. And finally, Carr takes the ball away from danger and comes forward and clips it up towards the halfway line. Andy Gray battling for possession with Bowyer. It's still Forest 0, Wolves 0 in a League Cup final that's getting better and better. Forest turn to attack, but they've been under pressure themselves. Frankie Gray halfway inside the Wolves half, and the referee, Mr. Richardson, blows the whistle for half-time. The scoreline, Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0.
So no score there at Wembley in the League Cup final between Nottingham Forest and Wolves, and of course we'll be having commentary on that in part 2 of the programme. There is an addition to the score, though, in the Rugby Union International.
BBC World Service. And now we rejoin Paddy Feeney in the Saturday Special studio.
And we have 3 main events for you in the first section of the second part of Saturday Special today. We've got the League Cup final at Wembley between Nottingham Forest and Wolves, and we've got 2 Rugby Union internationals, the one at Murrayfield between Scotland and England, which is producing some fantastic play, and also the one at Lansdowne Road between Ireland and Wales. Then at 16:50, the racing results and the full-time football scores as they come in. 17 hours news summary. 17:05, the classifieds. 17:10, we're up to Scotland for Aberdeen against Dundee United, and then at 17:30 our sequence of football match reports around the countryside. Now, before we do anything else, we're going to have to go back, as we did in the first part of the programme today, to Murrayfield and the Rugby Union International, where England, of course, is attempting to get the Grand Slam for the first time in 23 years. When we left it, it was go across to Wembley for the League Cup final. It's Nottingham Forest against Wolves. For Forest, Shilton, Anderson, Needham, Burns and Frank Gray, O'Neill, McGovern and Bowyer, Francis, Birtles and Robertson. Wolves have Bradshaw, Palmer, Berry, Hughes and Parkin, Daniel, Hibbett and Carr, Andy Gray, Richards and Eves. 18 minutes into the second half at the moment. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0. Our commentary team there consists of Alan Parry, Bryon Butler, and also analysis coming in from Denis Law. He is the one who's talking at the moment.
So Hughes and George Berry have got to stay back there. They cannot go off and attack with the rest of the midfield players.
And a free kick to Wolves inside the Forest. Half quickly taken there by Parkin to Hughes. Hughes, his avenues immediately closed down. Gives it back to Parkin. Parkin forward now to Hibbett. Hibbett a long one forward. Tries Eves. Eves just outside the Forest penalty area. The ball breaks off a Forest defender. Turned inside square now to Daniel. Daniel lets it run to Palmer. Little chip forward. Nodded away there by Needham. And it's now Wolves going straight for Forest's throat. They've 10 men now inside the Forest half. And it's Hughes who swings a long ball away to that far side of the field. Chested down by Gray towards the right edge of the Forest penalty area. Lays it back to Daniel. Daniel back to Palmer. Palmer putting the ball inside the Forest penalty area. Beaten away for Forest, but not for very long because Hughes comes with them. Hibbett, and it's going to be a free kick. A free kick now to Forest as we welcome to Wolves, as you were, as we welcome World Service listeners with the news that with just 25 minutes of the standard, the scheduled 90 minutes left to the 20th League Cup final, Wembley still waits for a goal. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. But if we've had no goals, we've had so much adventure and drama and quality. And down beneath us now, the Wolverhampton substitute, Colin Brazier, begins to warm up as Carr takes the free kick for Wolves 7 or 8 yards outside the Forest half. Beaten away by the Forest defence. It comes back to Daniel. Daniel a long slanted one. Up goes Gray. Gray challenge there, and the ball is inside that net. It must be. No, it's not. A spell of pushing. We have the ball in the net for the first time in the game. Shilton was being pushed from the back and the front, but the linesman on that far side of the field had his flag up. Shilton turns away to that far side of the field, and Alan Parry, Shilton prepares to take that free kick for more scores.
Yes, and England not having it all their own way at Murrayfield, where a Rutherford try converted by Irvine has brought Scotland back into the game. Scotland 18 points, England 30. Ireland now really romping home against the Welsh. A Kieran Fitzgerald try converted by Ollie Campbell has made it Ireland 21, Wales 3, and in the day's league football, Bristol City have pulled a goal back against Liverpool through Kevin Mabbutt. Bristol City 1, Liverpool 2. It's Southampton 1, Aston Villa 0, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Back to you for a moment, Brian.
And now, as you join us, the ground away to our left absolutely erupts, because Wolves have just taken the lead, and the man who has put them in front, the first goal of this night, this 20th League Cup final, Andy Gray, who else, at £1.5 million, the costliest player in the whole long history of football, that dreadnought of a striker, his assets, aggression, courage and perfect timing. Well, that's what we saw here today. The cross came in from Daniel. Needham chested it down. Shilton ran out. He made an awful mess of it. It hasn't perhaps been Peter Shilton's season. Gray got behind him. He looked surprised. Gray ran on and finally tucked that ball into that empty Forest net. So we now have a little more than 22 minutes left. The deadlock is broken, and it's Wolverhampton Wanderers, the underdogs, who are threatening Nottingham Forest place in the record books. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
Dreadful mistake by Needham and Shilton. Andy Gray will probably never score a more easy goal. So who was he plays in the game? All they had to do was knock into the empty net. It was a ball knocked for Gray by Daniel, a mix-up between Needham and Shilton, and they're falling to Andy Gray to put Wolves in the lead, and something that they began to deserve, because in the last 10 minutes of this half they've begun to come more into the game. The midfield, Gray is finding more space on the flank, but really, Brian, a dreadful mistake between Peter Shilton and Dave Needham.
But of course, the cup still belongs for the moment officially to Nottingham Forest, as it has done for the last 2 seasons, and they won't let it go, and they come forward now. They may be a goal down, but Wolves are going to have to hold on to that lead with everything they've got, because Forest now have the ball. Bowyer gets ahead to it, to McGovern, crisply, away to that far side of the field, finds Robertson. Robertson, left edge of the Wolves penalty area. It comes to Bowyer. He misses it, swings wildly at it, controls himself, gives it to Needham, who comes out of defence up into the action. Finds Francis. Francis, a long ball. It may have been a cross, but in the end it amounted to absolutely nothing. The ball hits the photographer. He rolls it back, and it's going to be a goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And away to our right now, of course, the Nottingham Forest army of support. Absolutely silent. All the noise and the colour is around the tunnel end. That's where the Wolves supporters are. And above them, that electric scoreboard reads Nottingham Forest 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And with 21 minutes to go, and 21 minutes, I'm sure, in which we're going to see an awful lot of good action, it's Alan Parry to pick up commentary.
And Wolves come forward again just outside that Forest penalty area. This time Burns on hand to head away. And Forest have got to get back, and get back quickly into this League Cup final. Andy Gray's goal bringing the terraces to life. They've hardly been quiet in an eventful final, but they're really buzzing now as Forest come forward. Anderson, halfway inside the Wolves half. Forest have never lost a final of any description in their long history. Now they're a 0-0 down against Wolves. They've got a throw in halfway inside the Wolves half on this near side of the field. In fact, the referee says they can have a free kick for that tackle. So a free kick just a few yards in from the right touchline. Trevor Francis high into the area looking for Kenny Burns. Headed away though by Wolves. Out for a throw already taken. Forest play it to the edge of the Wolves penalty area, and Wolves get it clear off the back, in fact, of Viv Anderson, and out of play it goes for a goal kick to Wolves. So that the goal really what this game needed. It has been a marvellous full-flowing match. There's been a lot of quality football and certainly plenty of excitement and incident, but that goal has really given it the injection that has brought it to life. Forest 0, Wolves 1. Bradshaw taking a long time about this goal kick. Finally he takes it, left-footed. And climbing high on the halfway line is Richards to nut it down neatly to Malley. Sees the Wolves referee not takes on Anderson, can't get round him, and that'll be a throw-in to Wolves. Just inside the Nottingham Forest half, and the ball thrown in field again to Richards, who clips it through to Carr. Left edge of the penalty area. Carr curls it round the outside of the Forest defence, but straight to Peter Shilton. Urgency in Shilton's step now as he kicks downfield. The ball tries to control Martin O'Neill, and finally O'Neill gets it under control and goes down this right flank, beats off one tackle, has the ball on the edge of the penalty area and finds Francis out near the corner flag. Francis, a low ball into the penalty area. Parry makes a miss and it comes to O'Neill. A great save by the keeper. Still a mess inside that goal area, and Bradshaw, the hero, goes down and saves the ball and clutches it safely to his chest. And this young man who'd never played at Wembley before, who many people thought might be a weakness, really has had an excellent game, Denis Law.
Well, certainly he's played well. He's come out and quite confident indeed, but in all games you've got to have a bit of luck, and I felt that he had the luck there to mix up with Emlyn Hughes in the penalty area and the ball falling back to Bradshaw.
17 minutes of the League Cup final left then. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 1. And the ball again outside that Wolves penalty area. Away to our right. Daniel has it. A long clearance into the Forest half, headed away by Needham. And now Frankie Gray comes forward. Gray, halfway inside the Wolves half. A good ball. Finds John Robertson in the outside left position. Robertson, right-footed, clips it into the penalty area. Francis heads it down. Parkin, an acrobatic clearance upfield. The ball bouncing near the halfway line. Needham heads it back into the danger area again. McGovern has it for Forest. They trail 1-0. Francis claiming he was brought down by Hughes, and referee Richardson says no, play on. And Parkin has it safely for Wolves on the edge of his own penalty area. Well, the Wembley lights are on. The sky around is grey and gloomy, but there's nothing gloomy about this cup final. Wolves leading 1-0. And the ball kicked downfield by Bradshaw. Bowyer heads it out to that far side. Daniel plays it back from right flank to left for Wolves, but it's Francis who picks it up on the halfway line. A good reverse ball, and Anderson in the outside right position goes forward to the edge of the penalty area. Hughes clears on the edge of his own box, but still Forest come forward. Anderson plays it into the box again. Parry for Wolves heads it clear. The pressure is on Wolves now, though they lead 1-0. Francis again tries to get in across. Once more it's beaten away, but now McGovern has it for Forest. Finds O'Neill on the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Back to Francis. Momentarily he lets his concentration lapse. The ball runs away, but he gets it back, and in the end he wins a corner. Mellies with the tackle. So what an exciting climax as Forest win their 6th corner of the game with 15 minutes to go. It's Wolves who lead 1-0. And Francis will take this corner low across the box. Burton flicks it forward. Burton shot again, and Bradshaw once more is safe in the right position and absolutely alive to what's going on around him. Had an outstanding game, this Wolves keeper. Saved it with his hands, with his legs, with his chest, but has saved it every time. And kicks left-footed downfield. Andy Gray, scorer of the Wolves goal, controls on that far side of the field and finds Daniel in the outside right position. Daniel comes in field. Good ball, finds Hibbett. Hibbett just gives it away, and Forest pick it up again deep inside their own half with Robertson. Robertson coming forward, is tackled on the halfway line, but it's still Forest who have it. And again Francis will chase, but won't get to that ball from Bowyer. And now Denis Law with only 15 minutes to go. The odds against Nottingham Forest.
Yes, but the 15 minutes they will try everything that they possibly can to get the equaliser. But of course Wolves making it very difficult. They're all getting back together. And of course in the second half they seem to have changed the tactics slightly. In the first half they were knocking the ball up to Andy Gray and Richards in the middle of the pitch. But now in the second half what they've done, Gray has floated to the flanks and created a bit more width, and Eveson in the second half has come more into the game. But Forest will try everything that they possibly can to get the equalising goal. So it's going to be, I don't know how long now, about 14 minutes to go, and that's going to be good.
Forest 0, Wolves 1.
And we'll be back there in just a second or two, but meanwhile, big news from Murrayfield at Wembley, so let's go back to Alan Parry.
Just about everything apart from the League Cup in this game takes it and finds Eves, edge of the Forest penalty area. Eves jinks one way, gets in a good cross, but straight at Shilton. And Shilton kicks right-footed downfield. George Berry climbing inside the centre circle. His header is picked up by Forest on that far side. Bowyer finds Francis. 13 minutes to go. Francis in the outside right position, coming forward for hopefully an equaliser. As far as Forest are concerned, gets the cross in, but it's beaten away again. Anderson will play it in once more. And with 30 minutes to go, Forest still looking for the equaliser. Francis crosses again into the Wolves penalty area. It's headed away by Hibbett. And Wolves gratefully take the pressure off as Daniel comes forward on another good long ball, looking once again for the scorer, Andy Gray. And Forest so stretched at the back that those tactics are worth trying by Wolves, but this time Kenny Burns controlled it. And Forest have the ball back again, but time is against them. 12 and a half minutes to go, and they trail by a goal to nil. Are Wolves going to deny Forest their hat-trick of League Cup victories? Well, O'Neill comes forward, looking for that equaliser. He's wrestled away by Hughes, just outside the Wolves penalty area, and that will be another free kick to Nottingham Forest. Hughes has really held on and battled away at the heart of that Wolves defence, but this time he concedes a free kick in a dangerous position. Birtles is up, so is Burns, so is Needham, and Francis will take it just outside the penalty area. Chips it forward. Berry goes up for it, but it eludes everybody, and the referee had seen a push anyway on George Berry. Free kick to Wolves inside their own penalty area. Denis Law.
Very hard indeed for Forest Allen in a situation like that. They got a free kick which normally would be fairly dangerous outside the penalty area, but Wolves bringing the whole 11 players back into the box, and of course in the numbers in there, of course it's very hard indeed, and we saw the push on Berry. But Forest in this remaining 10 or so minutes will try very hard indeed to get that equalising goal, and they won't give up whatsoever.
But Wolves themselves won't give up, looking for a second. They come forward. Daniel, edge of the area, good cross, stretches the Forest defence and hasn't gone out of play yet. Richards keeps it in on the byline, gets it back to Carr, left edge of the Forest penalty area, and he wins a corner off McGovern. The fifth corner of the game to Wolves. On this near side of the field, that's the Wolves left. George Berry, the centre half, comes forward for this corner. Wolves leading by an Andy Gray goal to nil. As Hibbett's corner is played to the near post. Berry, a back header. It hits the post. It comes to Carr. It's beaten away again. And Forest survives. And Francis comes forward from the counter-attack. He's halfway inside the Wolves half. Finds O'Neill. No, good interception by Parkin. And the fullback does so well then. And the Wolves fans are absolutely delighted with that fine piece of defensive play by Parkin. But Dennis, that was a close thing to a second for Wolves.
Well, of course, they had all gone out for the corner kick, and a bit of a lucky escape for Forest, of course, hitting the post. But we saw it when the ball came out of the Forest defence, how fast Francis was, and it was good play by Parkin to stop that Forest attack.
10 minutes of normal time remaining in the 20th League Cup final, and Nottingham Forest are trailing by a goal to nil. Andy Gray has given Wolves the lead. But now Berry concedes a free kick. And again, it could be danger for Wolves, because it's no more than 10 yards from the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Francis waiting for the ball to be retrieved. What an ending to this League Cup final. Just a goal in it. And Forest take the free kick quickly. Francis hammers it across. Richards is there to head clear from inside his own box. Only as far as Frankie Gray, who plays it back in first time. Burns goes up. Francis is there. A header just wide. Well, Forest have thrown so many players forward that it was Burns who played a vital part in that near miss then. And as Francis went diving in full length inside the goal area, he headed the ball wide and I think caught his head as well in the process, and is now lying injured. And Jimmy Gordon, the Forest trainer, will have to come on and treat Francis before play can continue. Denis Law, it's going to be a pulsating final 9 minutes.
Well, I thought that Trevor Francis in that situation was very brave. The ball being headed on by Kenny Burns. But Francis, there was two Wolves players there, ready to kick the ball away. Francis didn't think anything of it and went in with his head. And really, it was just not past the post. If it had been on target, Bradshaw, the goalkeeper, was completely out. He had no chance whatsoever. Trevor Francis, very brave indeed there.
That noise is the noise of Wolves supporters who are now 8 minutes away from celebrating a League Cup final success against the team who've become known as the League Cup final team in recent years. Forest, twice winners on this ground in successive finals, now a 0-0 down. And Wolves have a free kick on the halfway line. Hughes forward to the edge of the penalty area. It beats Gray, but it gets through to Richards. Richards tries to tee it up. The shot comes in, and a scramble inside the area. Finally, Carr toe-puts the ball, and Shilton goes down on his knees to save. Important First Division score in Manchester City 0, Arsenal 2. Frank Stapleton with the second goal for Arsenal. But Richards, looking for a second for Wolves, is beaten by John Robertson in the tackle, halfway inside the Wolves half. And he turns it out to Anderson on this near side of the field. Anderson infield to Francis. Good tackle though by Parkin. And Parkin has to turn and face his own goal. He plays the ball down the line to Hughes, and Hughes back safely to his goalkeeper Bradshaw. Everything that Wolves do correctly now is being cheered enormously by the Wolves fans, who are really enjoying this League Cup final. And they come forward again, but Richards is offside on the far side of the field. 6.5 minutes to go. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 1. Andy Gray got the goal that could be the winner, but Forest are coming forward with Robertson. Out to O'Neill in the outside left position. Deep inside the Wolves half. Comes forward to the edge of the box. Good ball into the middle. It's half cleared again by Wolves. The pressure is still on them. And finally, Palmer gets it out of play for a throw-in. Taken by Gray for Nottingham Forest. Takes the return ball out in the outside left position. Down the line to O'Neill. Surrounded by Wolves defenders. O'Neill turns away and gets it back again to Frankie Gray. Can Forest salvage it? Can they force this game into extra time? Gray still coming forward. His centre beaten away though by Daniel, and he still has it. Everybody almost back inside that Wolves penalty area. The ball with Robertson finds Kenny Burns halfway inside the Wolves half, and they're trying to tempt Wolves out, but they won't come out. They've got everybody behind the ball, all 11 players. Now O'Neill tries, takes them on the edge of the box, and is tackled and wins the throw. 6 minutes to go, and the Andy Gray goal, which gave Wolves the lead, is still separating these sides in the League Cup final. The ball is lofted high into the Wolves box again. Berry is there to head it clear, but yet again the loose ball is picked up by a Forest man. It's Frankie Gray. He's tackled by Richards, and another throw in. The pressure is relentless now from Nottingham Forest. 5 minutes to go. Wolves 0. Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 0, as Forest come forward. Robertson, a good-looking cross. Bradshaw goes up and safely takes it again. And Berry hugs his goalkeeper in delight, and well he might, because Dennis, he's been one of the Wolves heroes today.
Yes, and he came out again and collected that ball very cleanly indeed. Wolves under a great deal of pressure there in the last few minutes. Forest trying everything that they can to try and get the equaliser. Wolves holding out. But when they break them very fast, particularly Richards and Gray up front. So there's a possibility with Forest doing all that attacking that they could lose out in the end.
So Wolves are 5 minutes away from their second League Cup final success and from denying Forest a little piece of history. The ball on the far side of the field with Gary Birtles for Nottingham Forest. 10 yards from the Wolves penalty area. Forced way out wide, but still gets in a cross which has gone behind, in fact, and that'll be a goal kick. 6 years ago, Wolves came here and won the trophy, beating Manchester City 2-1. But today, it looks as though the success is going to be an even more important one than that against Nottingham Forest, who are bidding for a third successive victory and to preserve their record of having won every major cup final in which they have appeared. And I noticed that John Richards, the Wolves striker, has sustained a cut above the eye in a collision earlier, but he looks happy enough to go on, although Colin Brazier, a defender, the Wolves fan, is again warming up on the touchline. 3.5 minutes to the end of normal time. Can Wolves hang on? Can Forest get back? Free kick to Wolves, inside the centre circle. Hughes forward. Gray has it on. Comes to Richards, but Burns gets in by the foul. A corner. So the tension mounts. The crescendo of noise mounts.
Как не судья.
For Forest, and goes 50 yards, Swindon going through it. It's Frankie Gray rather, not Robertson. He finds Burgess, and now Robertson in the outside left position. Trying to do through. Bowyer, 10 yards from the Wolves box, goes forward all the way, finds McGovern. McGovern out for that dark out of the field to Robertson. 10 yards from the Wolves, front of the area. Robertson comes in field, a good-looking cross, headed away by Parkin, comes to Bowyer, and Bowyer shoots, and Bradshaw saves it with his legs again. What a plan the goalkeeper having. Certainly is, and when...
Exactly, because I was one of those lonely figures walking in the other direction while the Wolves players were coming around the track holding the cup. It was very sad indeed, so don't bring it up again, Will.
2.5 minutes to go, and still the Andy Gray goal, the only one of the game. Will it be the winner? Forest will not give up until the final whistle. They've been taught that. And O'Neill has the ball halfway inside the Wolves half, but he's given it away. Out it goes for a throw-in. Dalglish here has just scored a third for Liverpool at Ashton Gate. Bristol City 1, Liverpool 3, and a second goal for Liam Brady has clinched it, I would think, for Arsenal at Main Road. Manchester City 0, Arsenal 3. 2 minutes of normal time to go, and Nottingham Forest are being denied their third Wembley win on the trot. Wolves leading 1-0. The ball halfway inside the Wolves half. Berry crashes it over the touchline for a throw-in. Forest will throw every player bar Shilton forward now. Time is against them. Anderson halfway inside the Wolves half finds Needham. Just over a minute and 15 seconds to go. Robertson halfway inside the Wolves half comes jinking in field, finds O'Neill inside the penalty area. O'Neill turns, gets in the shot, and away again by the Wolves defence. How they've held on. O'Neill this time picks up the loose ball, back to Robertson. Robertson in the middle. Bradshaw has saved it again. Well, players get tankards rather than medals for winning the League Cup, and I hope Paul Bradshaw's is a very big one, because he deserves it. Bradshaw, left-footed kick. We move into the final 45 seconds of normal time. Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 1. The tension unbearable almost as Anderson comes forward for Forest and finds Francis halfway inside the Wolves half. Francis takes on the defenders, clips it forward, and the ball goes out for a throw-in. The linesman looks at his watch. The referee looks at his. Only 15 seconds to go by our watch. Anderson from the throw, tight to the touchline. Tries to make space for a cross, gives it instead to Francis. Francis finds Birtle. Birtle, and a shot coming in finally is over the top and deflected over the top from Needham for a corner. Can there be more drama left? We're into time added on to stoppages, and Forest have won a corner. It'll be the last kick of the game, almost. Francis drives it to the edge of the penalty area. McGovern finds Robertson, edge of the box. Robertson into the middle, headed away. It breaks again to McGovern. It's charged down. Andy Gray clears upfield. Still Forest have it. Frankie Gray out to John Robertson. The referee looks at his watch again, and it's all over. Wolves have won the cup. And the scenes, what you'd expect from a famous side, a historical club who have made a little bit of history of their own. Emlyn Hughes, the man who's won just about every honour in football, is as elated as though it's his very first honour in the game. He hugs Bradshaw, the keeper. Berry and Richards celebrate, and all over the field it's the old gold jerseys of Wolves, which are covered with delight. The Wolves players, joined by their manager John Barnwell and assistant Richie Barker, and Forest with the dejected look that only Wembley losers can produce. Meanwhile, Brian Clough is standing quietly below with Peter Taylor. They know what it's like to be Wembley winners. Now they know what it's like to be Wembley losers. And John McCall, broken leg or not, limps onto the pitch on crutches to join the happy Wolves celebration. Emlyn Hughes is as happy as though his career has started all over again.
Yes, Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 1, the result of the 1980 League Cup final at Wembley, where Andy Gray was the scorer there, and our commentary team consisted of Alan Parry, Bryon Butler and Denis Law. And how sad for Forest that they didn't get the hat-trick, but how marvellous for Wolves, a team that is coming back all the time. Right.